Hey everybody, it's Jason Will. Just want to take a quick second to remind you that my Impact Agent University conference is happening this April 11th and 12th, 2019 in New Orleans, Louisiana. Get your tickets at impactagentuniversity.com and use promo code JASON10 for a 10% discount off your tickets. Ready? Ready to rock and roll? Is that action? All right. Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Absolutely. Go. Go.
Hello everybody, it's Jason Will with
Go.
This is a real estate podcast, but we talk about leadership, personal growth, and becoming the best version of yourself. Leadership, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Growth, best version of yourself.
Go.
So this is a real estate podcast. All right, Jeff Cohn, welcome to the Impact Agent Podcast. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm jacked to be here today. Thank you. I just actually shaved. I'm envious of your beard. I went 2 years with a beard like that and took it off 4 days ago, and I'm feeling a little naked today, especially with no hair on top.
My wife will not let me shave mine now, so I've had mine forever. Yeah, she's like, she digs it, so I can't get rid of it.
I've been taking heat, man, from mine. She's like, oh, I can't do it. I'm like, come on, I don't look that bad, do I?
No, I think you look very handsome both ways.
Oh, well, that's a great way to approach it. I can tell you've been married longer than I am.
I was talking about you yesterday, as a matter of fact. I was hosting a training in Baton Rouge, and we were talking about free lead generation strategies. You and I didn't meet, but I'm an early adopter of Boomtown Unite, and this was way long time ago. But I know that you, back in the day, we were generating 400, 500, 700 free leads a month with Craigslist, and they changed it. Mm-hmm. But I just happened to come across one of your elite real estate systems. I don't know if it was a webinar or a podcast, but it was on YouTube. I don't know, 30 minutes in or whatever, you start talking about Craigslist, and Craigslist was not dead. You're like, Craigslist is not dead.
It's alive. Yeah. Well, dude, they ran robots. Like they had bots that were crawling to look for live URLs. And so everyone got out of the Craigslist posting game once those bots started crawling, because they essentially were ghosting the accounts. Right. What we found is I stuck with my virtual assistant. I have a guy in the Dominican Republic. It's a couple $100 a month, and he posts 100 houses a day from 3 separate accounts. So if one gets ghosted, you still have the other 2. But what we found is we stuck with it. Everyone else got out of the game. Those bots stopped. They shut the bots off after 2 or 3 months. You can't put a live URL, but you can say, go to this spot. You can't even use the word like link or HTML, but you'll just say, go to this spot to see additional information about the home. We crush Craigslist. It's our highest ROI. I get like a 10x return off of Craigslist leads. And to date, we're generating 2,000 leads a month, and Craigslist is our least expensive lead as well.
Wow. That's amazing. So I was really proud of myself. It was one of those, just pat yourself on the back moments just for being learning based.
Yeah.
It surprises me how the questions that I get from, because I just do lunch and learns, right?
Yeah.
You're talking to bigger audiences. I do lunch and learns, but 20, 30, 35 people, and that questions they're asking me, the recording going on in my head is that's all on YouTube.
Dude, here's the deal. I just came off a podcast with Matt Johnson, who co-hosts the Team Building podcast with me, and we were having a whole conversation about content. Everything is out there. It's all on YouTube. It's all on iTunes. The challenge is just, who do you trust? It's like religion. Like, whose methodology do you believe in? And then take it a step further. People know what they need to be doing. Everyone knows they should call their sphere. But what do? They go spend thousands of dollars on internet lead gen when they should just call their past clients. So I think it's a function of having a real estate coach or an accountability partner that's making sure you're doing the highest producing, highest productive activities in the least amount of time with the least amount of energy. And that's what I'll be speaking about at our event that we have coming up.
Well, yeah, I want to get into that in just a second, but you're Berkshire Hathaway, correct?
Yeah, we are. We actually just came off the annual event last weekend, and we're awarded the #1 team at Berkshire Hathaway in the entire country.
Wow, so congratulations. That's awesome. Well, I got to see a little footage, I guess, from the CEO speaking. I was in the Berkshire Hathaway office yesterday as well in Baton Rouge, and they were playing that for their folks at the sales meeting.
That was Chris Stewart. I was actually standing right behind him throughout that entire speech. All the
really?
On stage. Yeah, all those people sitting in the chairs behind him. Yeah. I was one of those guys, and you couldn't get off the stage. They give you the award. You sit down in that chair, and you're like, I'm not getting up because I'm in front of an audience of 20,000 people. I'm stuck for 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so you saw his keynote.
Yeah, he was talking about, I'm probably butchering this, but you can kind of fill in the gaps. Yeah. But he was saying there's 5 million homes sold annually.
Yeah,
but yet real estate agents are purchasing 100 million leads a year.
Leads are increasing. Same amount of houses keep selling.
The gist of my talk yesterday at that Lunch and Learn was about free lead sources, about using Facebook and YouTube and Craigslist. And you said you get a 10x return from Craigslist?
We're averaging about a 10x return on most of our lead gen vehicles. We use Google Ads, Facebook, and Craigslist as those are our primary ones we're spending money on. We spend money on other things, but the best place for an agent that's still servicing, the best place is your sphere of influence.
Yeah, hands down.
I mean, all day. If you're still servicing, the challenge is if you want to create a leverageable business, which my provocative challenge to everyone that ever listens to me is to stop selling, stop servicing, focus on building a business. If you want to have a scalable business, you have to have a scalable way to increase leads. And so the test to ask yourself if you have that is, can you 10x your spend and get 10 times the return? Most people are like, what are you talking about? Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you don't run a business. True business is you can 10x your spend. You should maybe not 10x your return, but 7x your return, 5x your return. And what I mean by that is, like, right now, I spend $6,000 a month on Google Ads. If I doubled my Google Ads spend, I double my leads from Google Ads. My dysfunction on my team, I have 40 agents. I need to have 80 if I'm going to double my lead spend. So my bottleneck is agents willing to work the internet leads. Agents love working sphere leads. That's what they're best at. Those leads are the easiest to convert. Internet leads are hard.
Well, that's an interesting thing to bring up, because I feel like I had an agent 2 weeks ago call me and say, Jason, what should I spend money on? Homes.com, Realtor.com, or Zillow? This is before they've even tested their ability or their discipline to even try to convert an internet lead, and they're wanting to throw money at it.
Everyone wants the easy solution, and they think if they spend money on it, leads are going to land in their lap that are simply like easy to convert. Our numbers are good. We have some crazy follow-up processes we require our agents to implement with every internet lead that comes in. For example, in the first 2 weeks, they have to call the lead 10 times, send 2 texts and 2 voicemails, set them up on listing, update alerts, and we have an e-alert, which is a 7 email chain over 2 weeks. Like all this barrage, and we only convert 2%. Industry average is half of 1%. So we're still converting 4 times better than anybody else. But what people don't recognize is not just about return on investment, which is ROI, it's return on time. And if an agent can spend 5 hours outbound prospecting to their sphere and convert 1 deal, or spend 50 hours trying to convert the internet leads and convert 1 deal, the internet lead might have been less expensive, but that sphere lead makes way more sense because they're going to spend way less time on it. So we track every lead source, and I'll speak about this from stage. We track each agent's individual production and where their leads are coming from. And every agent on my team has a different game plan going into the next year based on their results from the year before. So if an agent's stronger at open houses, we have them spend more time on opens. If they're stronger at converting internet leads, we have them spend more time converting those internet leads. Not all agents are created equal. We try to place our agents in the place we believe they'll be the most successful in the least amount of time with the least amount of energy.
That's smart. Yeah, if they invested all that money just back into throwing a client party or a mega agent open house, something to love on their people, what might happen?
Dude, I totally agree. The best activity, if you're still servicing the business and you want to create a leverageable lead gen vehicle for yourself, I think the best way is to take the activities you're good at and leverage those. So let's say you're great at writing handwritten cards. You can write 1 card and hire someone for $10 an hour to write the rest of them. If you're good at messaging people on Facebook, inviting them to an event or asking them to a lunch or just saying I'm checking in, you can draft the Facebook template and have someone else jump into your Facebook. You can send about 50 messages a day. So the list goes on and on. Pre-recorded voicemails in Mojo Dialer to your past clients. My voicemail would be like, hey, it's Jeff Cohn. I know it's been a while since we've connected. I'm still thinking about you. Always am here to take your referrals and service every lead you send me the same way I serviced you. It'd mean the world to me if you brought my name up when you come across people thinking about selling. Anything I can ever do for you, never hesitate to reach out to me. Here's my cell phone number. Here's my email address. Here's my website. We were also #1 at Berkshire. Whatever information you want to give them, pre-record that voicemail and hire a $10 an hour assistant to call thousands of people dropping that voicemail. That's working smart versus working hard.
Golly, that's good stuff. So what do you feel like? I mean, you're hosting these podcasts all the time. You're doing these events. You're coaching people. What do you feel like is the #1 issue that is holding agents back from their full potential right now?
#1 is they're focused on the wrong things. People will tend to gravitate to the things they're comfortable doing. So the whole coffees for closers, Alec Baldwin skit from Glenn Ross. What's the most comfortable thing? Sit and drink a cup of coffee and talk about how hard the market is and how challenging. It's always been a bad market. I got licensed in 2006. I've never heard someone say, this is great. It's always, oh, this is tough. It's a seller's market. It's horrible. It's a buyer's market. It's horrible. It's a neutral market. It's horrible. It's always horrible. And that's the excuse and the lie people live with so that they don't feel guilty they're not having success. But the truth is, if you watch, there's about 5% of the people doing 95% of the business and having success. So success in real estate is tied to the agent that spends a majority of their time prospecting for appointments with the goal of meeting with sellers to do a listing presentation and sign a listing agreement, or the goal of meeting with the buyer to sign an exclusive agency agreement and turning both of those leads over to someone else to service it. The agents I know that make $1 million a year or more net profit are creating a wheel to generate leads, sign contracts, and let someone else service the deal. But HGTV paints this picture that a realtor's job is to walk house to house, hold hands, hold your little puppy the whole time. That's not the job of a realtor. If you want to make the most amount of money in the least amount of time, which is my goal, and I would hope would be your goal as well, you should create a vehicle that services the transaction, and you yourself should not be trading time for money. That's a job, not a business.
So devil's advocate, because there's a lot of naysayers out there. I'm a single agent, and I feel like I'm a control freak. That's what I am. If we're just going to, cut through the crap, I'm a control freak. I want to control every aspect of my business. But the excuse I use to justify that is I say, well, Jeff, you probably lost touch with your SOI, and you're just the face behind the business, and you never really have meaningful conversations, or the relationships are lost. What would you say to that agent?
I'd say thank God. I mean, listen to what you just said. I don't want to take the time to have meaningful conversations with 40 people a year. I sold 630 sides last year. It's kind of funny. It's like the mindset of Burger King and McDonald's. My understanding is that McDonald's has about 10 times the restaurants as Burger King. And McDonald's is a lot more profitable than Burger King. You never see McDonald's apologizing. They're 10 times more successful because they have 10 times more locations. If you're an individual having to service, you have a job. If you're building a business, you have to work smarter, not harder. And you have to teach other agents to service. So the whole mindset that, if they don't have me, they're not going to have as good of an experience, that's a cop-out. Your job as the owner is to train your agents so that they are servicing those leads as well, if not better, than how you could have serviced those leads. I only had the ability, and every agent reaches a point of diminishing returns when it comes to actually servicing listings and buyers. And the average amount of deals per year where in my opinion, hit that diminishing return is around 50 sides. So if you want to impact the lives of hundreds, not just 50 families a year, hundreds of families a year, you have to create leverage. You have to have other people that are servicing, and you have to build a vehicle to allow for that. Taking it a step further, what my organization has done is I believe all true leaders serve their followers by giving them the ability to be just like them. So I started a real estate team in 2011. 3 years ago, we started encouraging our top agents who are at 4 million in volume or more to create real estate teams within my team. So I'm now teaching my agents to stop selling real estate and focus on building their business underneath my umbrella, underneath the Berkshire umbrella. And I have about 10 teams now within Omaha's Elite Real Estate Group's team.
Wow, that's fascinating. I think what these agents are doing is it's really the conversation they're having with themselves, because what I would imagine is that people in the market that you serve, they don't expect you to be there to show them the homes and to be there during the home inspection. They're like, oh, well, Jeff's business has grown, so he's going to be less available.
The question is, what are they buying? When you go to Burger King, are you looking for the owner to be there to serve you your burger?
Right.
Or are you looking for the owner to hire the right management, the right cooks, the right staff, the right restaurants, and expect the same experience every time? We killed the Cohn. We were the Cohn team. Our tagline was Omaha's Elite Real Estate Group. And when we launched in 2011, I thought, why would I want to build up my name? Guess what? If it's my name, everyone's going to want me. And I want to be on a beach in Hawaii somewhere while my team is servicing all those leads. So we became our brand name, Omaha's Elite Real Estate Group. Everyone that joins the team works together to build that brand. We've been number one in Nebraska 5 years. So to the naysayers, I'd say this. We've been number one in our state for the last 5 years. We're number one at Berkshire across the country. I've netted over $1 million multiple years, and I average 5 hours a week in my residential real estate team. And I've been able to build a title company, an insurance company, and a rental property acquisition business where we buy and sell over 100 houses a year, a coaching company, a call center in the Philippines with over 100 virtual callers, and all these other things because I quit my job. And I started teaching other people how to do the job I was really good at. I was in the trenches for a long time, Jason. I averaged 50 or 60 deals a year, working 50 hours a week. And I was checking out at a Lowe's, a home improvement store in Omaha. And the gentleman that checked me out making $10 an hour, I asked him how he's doing that day. He said, honestly, I'm living the dream. And it wasn't just I'm living the dream. He's like, I'm living the dream. I'm like, how is the guy at Lowe's living the dream? I'm like, I just made 350,000 net and I don't feel like I'm living the dream because I'm constantly connected to my phone and responding to texts and voicemails and all this stuff. Right. And I thought I got to do it a different way. Just like you're doing with those mastermind lunches, I started going out and visiting top teams all across the country. I've been to over 50 brick and mortar offices across the United States to learn from them back in 11 and 12 what they did and what failures they made in their business. And we grew from 2011 to 2017. We grew by over 700 sides, went from 70 to over 700 sales in less than 6 years by implementing all the top strategies.
Wow. All right. I want to pick your brain on one other topic, and then we'll touch on what you're going to speak about at Impact Agent Conference. But I see an issue happening. Obviously, teams have been the trend in real estate for a long time, but I see teams popping up that maybe shouldn't necessarily be teams. The team leaders they just feel like, well, this is what I should do. Jeff's doing it. I should do it. Right. I mean, to be honest, that's why I did it. I was at Keller Williams at the time, and it was a team building company, and they were just like, you need to start a team, you need to start a team, you need to start a team. And all the people were on stage, and I envied that, and I wanted that. Now, it took me a decade to stop doing it wrong. But it also makes a case for the single agent that says, Jeff, you're leaving way too much money on the table with this team stuff. I'm way more profitable.
Yeah, there's no team agent I know in the country more profitable. Unless they're selling commercial real estate. Yeah. So if you want to have a P&L conversation, we can have one of those off record. So the next thing I would say is you got to do it the right way. MREA did a great job. Millionaire Real Estate Agent Gary Keller wrote it. I read that back when I first started as an individual agent. It really comes down to, do you want to service the deals the rest of your life? And when I pictured myself gray, and then my hair all fell out, but gray and into my 50s and even 60s, did I want to be the guy that's selling real estate? And I looked at a lot of the guys and gals that were successful in my market in their 60s and 70s. To me, that's not success. Success is having a legacy of investment properties and investments that are helping me in a residual way and not having to be out incumbent upon my leads to be able to get my next commission that comes through. And it's so sad. You watch agents, and a lot of people listening to this are going to be guilty of this. I was guilty of it for a long time. We're helping other people with their real estate transactions over and over and over, and we're making money. But then we're not deploying that money in an area that can create residual income for us year in and year out. And so we have to redirect our mindset on how that income is coming in. So the way I looked at the real estate team was I was creating a vehicle that was going to generate income to me in which I didn't have to personally be involved. I didn't have to personally service a deal or prospect or meet with clients. And then it's the same thing when you buy a rental property. Someone else is paying the payment. Someone else is managing the property. I use all of my deployable income right now, or disposable income, in acquiring single family and multifamily rentals. And I think of my real estate team the same way. So for someone listening who's like, oh, I don't never want to give it up, then don't give it up. And you'll work until the day you die, because you'll never really have anything that's generating you money other than your next real estate transaction. I just didn't want to live attached to my next deal. I did that for 6 years, and it becomes exhausting.
Yeah. What if you get sick or injured? God forbid.
What if you die? What if you passed along to your family? Other than your health insurance, hopefully you have, or life insurance, hopefully you have that. You have nothing, right? And for me, honestly, Jason, if I truly step back and self-actualize, I wanted to teach I had a ton of success. I was rookie of the year my first year. I did 50 deals my first year and netted $96,000 at 24. And all these people are like, how'd you do it? I started to become an expert at every different lead gen vehicle out there, and I was personally servicing. But I came to a place in my business where I got tired of servicing the deals, but I was excited to teach other people, and I still am excited. I get passionate about teaching other agents. And what I tell my own agents and anyone listening, if you want to service the rest of your life, but put yourself in a position where you wouldn't have to. So build a small team of 2 buyers agents and 1 listing person, and build a system for generating leads from your sphere and maybe some other outbound vehicles, and put yourself in a position where if you wanted to take 6 months off and go to Hawaii or go to Croatia all summer with your family or whatever the case might be, you could do it and not be worried where your next commission check's going to come from. That's the challenge I give the world. That to me is living the dream. What the dream is not is December comes around and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make my mortgage payment in February. It's going to be slow the next 3 months. Christmas isn't going to be great this year because my October was slow. Like, I know the challenges agents have. I've experienced those challenges. I know the ups and downs and dipping into your reserve lines to make ends meet. And that's no fun. That sucks. Mm-hmm. So why not leverage that a little bit and get a couple of additional agents within the organization to help you offset that and put you in a position where you can focus on building and scaling your business rather than just servicing the leads and having a job.
Wow. I think you've more than validated, to me anyway, why somebody would want to drive or fly to New Orleans to see you next month on the Impact Agent stage. But is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to entice some people why they should come hear your talk in April?
Yeah, my biggest 3 things, Jason, as far as what it takes to build a team, because you asked earlier, we talked about the right way to scale and how you've done the wrong way for 10 years. And I've made a lot of mistakes too the last 7 years as I've launched and scaled out my business. But the biggest thing is, number one, recruiting talent, agent talent, staff talent, finding great clients to work with, recruiting the right people. Number 2 is retaining your talent by offering value. And I'll be talking about that value from stage. And number 3 is offering continual training. And one of the things we did that's super unique that I haven't seen anywhere else is we have 2 hours of topical training a week. 1 hour is topical actually, and 1 hour is dialogue training around that topic. So we might do a listing presentation, topical training, and then a 1 hour dialogue training of the listing pres. We put a $50,000 studio in my office with 5 wall-mounted cameras that are all remote control. I have a production manager, and we do production level training. So our agents can access our team training from anywhere in the world, and they can go attend it live in a Zoom link similar to the one we're on right now and interact with our trainer live on camera, or watch the recordings. And we have over 104 hours of agent trainings recorded, and we've now made that available to agents across the country because I didn't want to just impact my agents of 35 on my team. I wanted to have a positive impact on the real estate community across the world. And it's only $97 a month for an agent to access 8 hours of content and $9.97 a month for 14 hours for a team leader. So we created Elite Real Estate Systems and offered live stream training. Instead of doing expansion teams, we thought, let's give all this information away to the world and make it really inexpensive, where it's a subscription-based month-to-month contract, and people have access to the live trainings and a year's worth of old trainings that are all in our vault, essentially. And that's made me super happy. I love being able to do that because I hear tons of success stories of people that say, I wasn't really sure what to do. I ended up finding your podcast or listening to this training, and it's changed my life. I mean, I have hundreds of examples of people that will reach out. That's what brings me the most satisfaction. If I can do that and be able to generate wealth while doing it, there's nothing better. So of course, I'm coming to speak at your event. Just so the audience knows, I'm coming for free. It's, again, paying it forward. Just excited to be a part of your event. And I'm humbled that you thought I would be someone that could bring value. And I really appreciate the opportunity, Jason. Thanks again.
I think there's no doubt. Just these little snippets that I found so much value and so many nuggets just in this brief time we've been talking today. You will have a booth. You'll have opportunities for people to see every product and every service that you offer at the event, I assume.
Yep, absolutely. I think I'm on stage for maybe 25 or 45 minutes, something like that. I have a quick keynote. It's going to take you guys through class, which is culture, lead gen, lead conversion, accountability, systems, and strategies that helped us go from 70 to over 700 sales. But I'm going to be at the entire event. So if you guys want to go grab dinner, if you want to just come up and ask me questions, if you want to come to my booth, I'm super present at events. Some speakers ghost. They're on stage for an hour and then you never see them again. Right. I will be all around. I'll be the bald ninja jumping around. So you guys, I'm super pumped. I'm excited to be a part of this. I know you have a ton of awesome speakers coming, which really is why I'm so humbled to have this opportunity to be a part of it. But don't miss out. If you can come, it's worth it. The small investment to get there, and the tickets are like super inexpensive compared to other events I've seen. I guarantee you will 10x the cost and the time you're going to put in to go by implementing even one thing that you take away. And that's the whole thing, is obtain the knowledge, apply the knowledge, fail forward, and that's where you're going to see results. Don't miss out on our event in New Orleans.
Awesome. Jeff Cohn, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. We really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to seeing you in April.
Looking forward to it. Thanks again.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for listening to the Impact Agent Podcast. If you liked the show and got something out of it, please like the Impact Agent Podcast on Facebook and rate and review the show on iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts. This really helps us grow the show and helps other agents find it. Please share it with your friends and coworkers as well. Want us to deliver the show to you via email every week? Then email me at jason@impactagentuniversity.com and we'll send you the show every week. Please let us know what you think about the show, what you like, what you don't, or possibly make a suggestion about a topic you want to hear. Email me at jason@impactagentuniversity.com or leave us a message on Facebook at Impact Agent Podcast. Until next week, everybody be productive, safe, and happy, and always keep learning. This podcast is produced by Johnny Gwynn at Deep Fried Studios in Mobile, Alabama, and is paid for and powered by ImpactAgentUniversity.com.